Hey friend. So for this Monday, we are spilling the coffee on ads. And that might sound like weird for a spilling the coffee episode, but I actually think it's so important to talk about this because it's not talked about enough. And I've had so many clients come to me asking questions about ads and also telling me that like previous coaches have told them to put money on ads. And that is crazy. Like, that's crazy. So, we're going to talk about all of this and a little bit of tea, coffee on on ads. And let me just say, this is hilarious. This is so timely. So, I mean, I'm recording this on Sunday before it goes out on Monday, but I received an email. So, this today, Sunday, from someone who shall remain unnamed because I'm not going to just call them out, but whatever, in the online space saying that they had spent $2 million on ads, which, like, that's fine. That's not the issue. But the same someone also posts all the fucking time about how easy it is to just pop up a reel and make like thousands upon thousands of dollars. And it's just so easy. And in this email, it was like, because I've spent $2 million on ads, my conclusion that I've come to is now every business owner should run ads. And that was basically like the end of the email. There was a link to something, and I was like, I'm not clicking that. But no, no, you fucking should not. No, that is like mind-blowingly awful advice. I hate this shit. Like, make that make sense. No, that is so dumb. And there's so much like misleading information in there. And also because of what they've promoted in the past, like this just, oh my God. And this wasn't where I was initially going to go with this whole coffee spill, but then I got this email and I was like, okay, I have to talk about this. And sometimes, like, I literally am just like, who the fuck is actually real online? Like, is there no one? Is there no one? I know that there are people because I know people that are, but I swear to God, they are few and far between. Like this, it's crazy. So, just as a side note, because it does relate to ads, many of the big like guru coaches that claim to make these like big amounts of money also pay for ads. And the point is not that ads are bad because they aren't. Like that's what I'm going to talk about. That's not, they're not bad. It's these misleading claims that happen, the whole look at my results without them saying I paid a bunch for ads in order to boost my visibility, in order to get in front of a whole shit ton more people so that I could get those results. And then they follow up with, look, look at my results with, and you can too, without saying that they paid for ads. That's the issue. Because, like, oh my God, let me know. Do you have $2 million just like lying around to throw down on ads? Because I sure as fuck don't. I don't know anyone who does. That's a lot of money. Um, and it's a lot. I even like, I don't know. I found that interesting that that's the amount that this person has spent, to be quite honest. But anyways, it's probably not, I, hmm, I guess they know their cost benefit ratio, but probably not the best way to spend that money. Just saying. So we're going to go into all of this. Ads. Just to make this simple, now when I'm saying ads, I'm talking about like ads, if you set them up on let's say Google or Facebook, or you did like boosting posts on Instagram, I'm lumping all of that together. Okay, we're talking about all of this together. Now, like I said, this is something I wanted to talk about because I've had so many people come to me and be like, my past coach told me that I should just run ads, or I've been running ads and I don't even know what they're doing for me. And I'm like, oh my God, no. I think that it's honestly insane if someone is just suggesting this as a thing to do, as like like just whatever, because there's so many things that you need to consider and look at when you are going to put money into ads. It's not just a straight up like thing to go start doing without knowing what you're doing. So there's a number of things you need to consider. And I've seen so many people like really disappointed that they didn't get results from ads, but it's because that's just like it's not how it works. And when you don't know what to look at or what post to boost or put ads behind or like all of these things, you are going to be disappointed because you're kind of going about it backwards. So I boosted a few posts, but I only did this after I knew that they performed well organically. And this is one of like the biggest parts of this. You have to know that something has performed well organically before you go and put ad spend behind it. Like you don't really want to just take something and be like, but hope this works. Like I'm just going to see what happens. Like you really don't want to do that. That is a recipe for just like flushing money down the drain. Like you're not doing yourself any favors. I also track my analytics incredibly close. And if you're going to do ads, like you have to do that so that you know what's going on. I even stopped. There was one that I was running and I had to stop running it because I have a certain audience that I've set up because I know that that's what I need. If I'm going to boost a post, I know that that's what I need it to get in front of in order to get the results that I want. So I have that set up if I'm going to boost something. And I was looking at how this one was performing, and it was not serving it to the audience that I had chosen at all. And that was really weird. Like I haven't had that happen before. I don't know why it was happening, but the audience that I have is basically like women between a certain age and in like specific countries because I kind of know essentially who my ideal client is, who I want it to go in front of that is going to make the biggest impact in a short amount of time. So it's like thinking about and knowing all of these things. This is why I'm saying like it drives me nuts when people are just like go run ads. Like it's not that simple. So anyways, I have this set. That's my audience that I chose and I like set it up with that. So I go in and I, I'm checking how it's doing. And I see that after, I think it was about 48 hours, because I wanted to keep it running just to see if it would shift back. But it was only serving to men, mostly. Like not all, but majority. And like, sorry guys, but that's not my ideal client. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I shut it off because I'm not going to continue putting my money behind that if it's not even serving it to the proper audience and doing what I want it to do. I point this out though, because if you're not watching these things and you don't know what to look at, like you're in that position where you're like, okay, I'm just going to do this and hope it works. But you don't even know if it's like going to the right people, especially if you aren't watching. So it's really, really important that you are making sure that it is actually working right. So the other really important factor to consider, and like all of these are, I don't know which one is not important, but this is also really important, the intention of your ad, because you can have different intentions for your ad. It's not just to get clients or to make money. A lot of times when we think about ads, like that's what a lot of people run them for, but you can set them up as, and this is what I've done, is to build your email list, really boost your visibility, get more people on your list. I did this over Christmas when I was not posting anything and I took 2 weeks off and I was not online. I boosted a post and it did really, really well. And that helped me grow my email list a lot during that time. It also grew my followers some. It led to more hits on my website. It did all that. And that was the intention behind boosting what I did. It was not, I knew that it was not probably going to convert directly to clients. Like that was not the intention of it, but I knew that going in. And that is really, really important. You have to know what the intention is, because if you set this up and you just think that that's what's going to happen, you're going to be disappointed when it doesn't, because it's also about choosing, again, the organic post that did really well. That's part of it. And setting it up to have a specific goal that meets the intention of what you're wanting. So if I had wanted, conversions and I wanted to, let's say, this for me personally would probably look like people booking strategy calls, something like that. Um, it would be boosting a post where I'm talking about something, there's some CTA at the end where it says book a 30-minute strategy call, and it would be, you know, getting them to go to my website. There's like, especially on Instagram, there's a thing where, the goal of the ad is go to the website. You can have that right on the ad. So that would be for that one, and it would be taking people right there. And then getting people to book, and that would more likely result in like conversions, right? Because when I get people on a call, they're more likely then to convert. But it's really knowing all of these pieces and putting them all together. Now, the analytics that you really want to look at and track, analytics, like this is super important for these. I'm going to talk about this in terms of the Instagram ones because I think that this is easiest in like a podcast episode to do, because I mean, there's so much more that you can dive into if you're looking at doing like Google ads or something like that. But I think for most people, we're looking at like Instagram, Facebook, those kind of things. So the analytics to look at and track, again, what is your goal of your ad? It's going to give you a few different options that you can set. And you really want to think about, okay, so in terms of the post that you are boosting or putting an ad behind, what is the post? Because that has to meet the goal too. It has to make sense together. You're going to you're going to write down the number of days just so that you have that. So you know the ad spend, how much are you putting down? The stats before, what are you at beforehand? Like organically, what did this do? Because it's going to be one that you've already tested. You know that it did well organically. So you're going to write down, you know, and this is where the likes, the comments, the shares, the saves, that doesn't matter as much. It does still matter because that's definitely engagement. And we want to, that's a test of whether it did well organically. But then it's also profile visits, follows, reach, impressions. And it does give you, but I think this is after the ad runs, link taps. So those are things that you can track and you want to do before as well as after. You want to make sure that you are looking at that to see really how well it did, and make sure that you're looking at it during the ad while it's running. Because, like I said, with the one that I had on, I hadn't looked at it. I would have been pissed if I would have looked and it would have been like it only got to, I think, I only let it run until it was, I think it was serving at 60% men and then like 40% the audience that I had chosen. And I was like, no, we're stopping this. Like, I'm not letting it go any further than that because the other ones that I have run, the ratio is like, this is wild. The ratio is about 85% the audience that I chose, and then like 15% is other or men or whatever. That was a massive difference. And I was like, okay, we can't, like, this is not working the way that it should be. So I'm not going to keep spending my money on this for it to be doing what I don't want it to be doing, right? But the only way you know is if you're looking. So you have to keep track of it during. You don't need to like be writing it down, just go in and look and then write it down before and after. I keep track of this like on a spreadsheet. It's very simple. Now, the other thing, again, which post or content are you going to actually boost? Always something that's done well organically. Always test it organically first. And then again, it's thinking about what is the intention? Is it that you are in a launch and you want to have more conversions? So then you want to have one that's a hard sell post, right? You want something that's going to create those conversions. Is it something where, you want people to sign up for a freebie or you want to build your list? Then you want to choose a post that is going to do that and you want to know that's what the intention is. So then also when you go back and look at your analytics, you are like assessing them properly and knowing that, okay, that's actually what they did. If, more people, if you got more profile visits, if you had more link taps, you can also see during that time, obviously, if it's like building your list, you'll see your email list increase. Obviously, you can also see if you're doing it to get conversions, how many did you get during that time? Did it actually increase your conversions? Like it's looking at these things and cross-referencing. Did this actually happen? Then another common one, how do you know how much you should spend? This is this is an interesting and it's a loaded question. My best advice, because I can't give you like a number, obviously, but start small. That's the best advice that I can give. Start small. When I did my first one, I did like $4 a day. I was not putting down anything massive because I wanted to see what happened. And I did not want to spend a whole bunch of money if it wasn't going to work. So I still don't put down a lot. Like the most I've ever done, I think I did one time I did $10 a day. That was the most. And I knew already I had boosted that post twice already. And it worked. It was working really, really well. And that's the only reason why I did that much even. Like I really don't do that much. Um, just because I don't really need to, but it's not something like you don't need to put a whole lot of money into it, depending on your business and everything else. That's why this is such a loaded question, but really start small. And it doesn't matter what your budget is. I would still say like start small and see what happens. And then it's looking at the results that you're getting, right? And what the actual payoff is. And again, why you need to track your analytics so that you can figure out like the cost per lead, the cost per client, whatever it was that your intention was for that ad, and see if it's actually worth you putting that money in. Because you want to know like how much you're putting in, are you actually getting the benefit out? And just something interesting to note, because this goes back to the beginning. You may have seen people who say that they've made these like $2 million on a launch. But this is where this gets really tricky because I really wish that they would break down what they've actually spent on that launch. I've seen it happen sometimes, and it can be like 1.5 million in ads, plus the additional team costs, plus extra costs that they have, just all the extra costs for running their business. And in the end, that fancy $2 million launch ends up costing more than what they brought in. So just more food for thought on that. Circling back to the beginning. Because yeah, just interesting to think about. Um, and I mean, it depends on your business. I haven't seen many people spend that much, but again, depends. So I would really start small. There's so many things that you need to look at. If you want to chat with me about it, you can definitely do that. I will leave my link to book a 30-minute free strategy call and we can chat and see what you have going on. So that is it on ads. That is the coffee on ads. There's like a lot of information there. There's a lot of things to think about. And that's why I think it's so weird to me when people just throw it around like, oh, this coach just said I should do ads or what, like, no, 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 let's run our businesses like real businesses and like think things through. All right. So that's the coffee. That is it for today. Book your free strategy call. If you would like to chat about ads or about anything else in your business, book it and let's chat. Otherwise, go after everything that you fucking want and be unapologetic about it.